This continues on. He says, as for the 14th Amendment's essential requirement that no person be denied the equal protection of the laws, there is carved above the entrance to the Supreme Court, equal justice under the law. Those are the words carved out above the entrance to the Supreme Court. This legislation in question, certain to be passed by the Senate, will come to the Supreme Court. I hope the justices will look up at the carving as they go into the building to make their decision. They should also remember that the Fifth Amendment makes clear, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy. But the House Hate Crime Bill allows defendants found innocent of that offense in a state court of the hate crime, not just of a regular crime, that are found innocent of the hate crime in state court, to be tried again in federal court because of insufficiently diligent prosecutors, or, as new Attorney General Eric Holder says, when state prosecutors claim lack of evidence. It must be tried again in federal court. So if they lack evidence at the state level, they're going to be tried again at the federal level, directly violating the double jeopardy clause in the Fifth Amendment. Imagine Holder as the state prosecutor in the long, early stages of the Duke University lacrosse rape case. And we don't have to get into that, but he's just saying, look, there's no evidence on a lot of cases. There's no evidence on a lot of cases, and they get dropped. So then should those cases be sent to federal court? What also appalls me, he writes, as the new federal bill races toward a presidential signature, is that for years, and now, the American Civil Liberties Union approves hate crimes prosecutions. I have long depended on the ACLU's staff of constitutional warriors to act persistently against government abuses of our founding documents. And these attorneys and analysts have been especially valuable in exposing the results of executive branch lunges against the separation of powers in the Bush-Cheney years, and still under Obama. So here this man is praising the ACLU, one of the most liberal institutions in America, and saying how he respects them. This is not a right-wing wacko. This is not a right-wing extremist. Here he is collaborating with the ACLU, depending on their judgment to guard against the overreach of executive powers that he felt was happening under the Bush-Cheney years. And yet he's wanting to simply be equal. Bush shouldn't have trampled the Constitution, and these guys, Obama and the rest of them, they should not be attempting to trample the Constitution. Now, what he's saying is hypocritical for the ACLU to jump for the constitutional protection at every hand against the Bush administration and say nothing of the trampling of the Constitution in this regard. My clothes are done. He says, is there no non-politically correct ACLU lawyer or other staff worker or anyone in the ACLU affiliates around the country or any dues-paying member outraged enough to demand of the ACLU's ruling circle to at least disavow this corruption of the Constitution? And the president, a former senior lecturer in the document, he's referring to the Constitution, at the University of Chicago, should at least take that document with him on Air Force One, where there are fewer necessary distractions, and familiarize himself with what the Constitution actually says. This is a principled defense and a dismantling of the thought process and the rhetoric behind hate crimes legislation. And it quotes and it uses the same ideas that I made in my piddly little video a year ago. But the response to my video, well, I expected as much of you. Oh, that's so typical. Isn't that just typical? Another white man against hate crimes legislation. This guy is a senior fellow at a liberal institution. You cannot find an institution that is more defending of liberal civil liberties and liberal social values than the Cato Institute. And here I am dismissed as a right-wing extremist, a closet racist, because I don't think that hate crimes legislation is a good idea. You have, when the government, when rights are a commodity to be passed out by the government, they are really no rights at all. And that's what people want to do with these hate crimes legislation. They want to give super rights. That's just another voice out there. Don't take my word for it. You won't take anybody's word for it, most likely. Everybody claims to be so tolerant. But they won't take my word for it. They won't take this guy's word for it. Because it doesn't match up with their views. But, I just thought it was interesting. The hate crimes, specifically violate the Constitution.